It's time to sit back, relax, and listen to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life will inspire, motivate, and empower you. Live your best life now. Listen, learn, think, and decide. Change your attitude, change your life. And now, here's your host, Joan Herman.
Welcome to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life brings you interviews with some of the most inspirational and influential people in the world. It's our goal to educate and empower you so you can live your best life now. Thank you for taking time for yourself, and thank you for letting us be a part of your life. We have another great show for you today. Hollywood is known for many things, but religion and spirituality are not usually at the top of the list. Today's guest, Ken Baker, reveals a world that is deeper and more God-centered than many of us could ever imagine. After years of working in the land of fairy tales and double dealing, Ken realized that his spiritual cup had evaporated. He set out to break what he calls the biggest story of his life and investigated what was really happening in what many call a godless land. Ken is a senior correspondent for E! News and the author of The 10 Commandments, My Search for God in Hollywood. Hi, Ken. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So Ken, you work with the biggest names in Hollywood, and you get to see what goes on behind the scenes. Before you began working on this book, what was your perception of life in Hollywood?
Well, I had been here for, 20 years and had worked in magazines and online and worked at E! News in the world of television for over 10 years. And, my experience of celebrity was largely a professional one. Mm-hmm. People are promoting projects or getting into various troubles, various dramas. I have to report on them. And that was sort of my experience of celebrity. And I knew that, there were people here pursuing deeper things and trying to seek deeper truths, but it wasn't a part of my life. It wasn't how I engaged with Hollywood. And, really for me, that was a big reason why I wanted to kind of step in, change my narrative of how I experienced life here as a Hollywood journalist, and just sort of decide to, I want to stop splashing in the kiddie pool and go over to the deep end for a while.
Yeah, well, Ken, what was it that was going on in your life that made you embark on this journey to find God?
Well, there were a few things. Number one, as I write in the book, I was suffering from panic attacks. I had a lot of stress and anxiety. Needless to say, at the very least, I needed to settle my mind, and I needed to slow my life down and become more reflective. I was running too fast, too hard, and was living somewhat of an aspiritual life. And, as someone who was raised Catholic and had, Sunday school and mm-hmm. was kind of told right from wrong, and I had a foundation, but I drifted so far away from having any church experience. I had 2 kids, but didn't take them to church because I didn't know what to tell them. I didn't know what I believed.
Right.
So for me, it was a real defining moment of saying, look, what has been closed-minded, aspiritual, not praying, not meditating, not seeking, where has it gotten me? It's gotten me to where I'm hyperventilating and almost passing out on air, and being racked with obsessive worry about the past or the future, and just completely not present. And I realized that I needed something that wasn't necessarily going to be found sitting just in a therapist's office or from a pill. I needed to find a sense of spiritual wellness and wholeness, and that's why I embarked on my journey that I tell in the 10 Commandments.
When you were beginning this journey, you worked with Deepak Chopra, and Dr. Chopra believes that many celebrities are driven by insecurities until they burn out. And I think that statement pretty much blankets so many of us today. So from working with him, what did you learn that can help us combat that approach to life?
Well, it's interesting. Deepak was one of the many experiences that I had. It turned out to be probably one of the most profound and lasting influences. And I just was with him recently about a week ago. And, he really learning meditation from him and having some of the insights that he has into the human experience and our experience of spirituality and of God and and what that means and how to define that and how to bring that to our daily lives. He's a really gifted individual, not only because of his intelligence, but his ability to communicate it. I mean, he's bonded with Oprah. He has his 21-day meditation series that he does with her. And of course, he used to be on her show a lot. So I knew a lot about Deepak Chopra from a distance. I wasn't a meditator. I wasn't some sort of new age guru follower kind of person. I mean, I would read the occasional self-help book, but I knew a lot of people in Hollywood were really into him. And, we know famously Michael Jackson, Elizabeth Taylor, Madonna, Jim Carrey had been down there, and Kim Kardashian and Kanye West had been down there very recently. So I was like, I'm going to go down there. I spent a week at one of his retreats at the Chopra Center in San Diego. And, what I really learned from Deepak was this form of meditation that's very similar to transcendental meditation, and it's called primordial sound meditation. It's a fancy way of saying it's a mantra meditation, and you repeat a mantra that they give you that's unique to you. And it involves some other steps and things, and you can certainly learn more about it on your own. But for me, what was really helpful was it really, for the first time, got me to still my mind, to be able to observe my thoughts and feelings, and to really check in with myself and to really get at the heart of what I believe my purpose to be and what is my relationship to the universe in general. Call it God, call it the universe. And really what I came to appreciate was that once I could still my mind, it opened up a lot of pathways to, creativity, to reflection, to self-awareness. And I think that that's a very secular kind of thing, but it can also be very spiritual. And I think when we calm ourselves and we feel more at one with ourselves and thus with everyone else around us, we can connect to the energy in the world. I think it can have profound impact on us all. And, I think, Deepak has this expression where he says, God is truth. And if we just keep asking questions, we will get answers. And in those answers lies God and the meaning and the purpose of why we're here. And I really do believe that. And so Deepak Chopra was definitely a big influence. And I was someone who was kind of skeptical, like, it's the Oprah guy, and I don't know. And the guru with like the Prada and the, the designer glasses he wears. I was just kind of like, I don't know about this guy. He's like a celebrity himself. It was weird. And I have to say, he was the real deal. He was fantastic, and I learned a tremendous amount from him. And I practice his form of mantra meditation every day.
People think that when you meditate or you're mindful or you quiet yourself, they think that that's only reserved for the people that are like the hippies in Southern California, and it's not for the everyday person, the professional person, the driven person. But you're saying that just incorporating that practice, every single one of us should be doing this in our daily life, and we can see results from it.
Absolutely. I mean, I was someone who couldn't sit still, and I tell the story in my book. And, like one of the first pages of the Ten Commandments, you see me trying to meditate, and I can't sit still for a minute before I start looking at my watch. Nowadays, if I don't meditate for 15 or 20 minutes, I feel like I've cheated myself. Like, hey, that's too short. So we really can train our minds and retrain ourselves and redirect all those neural pathways. And it's really astounding how malleable and how supple our minds are to be able to learn different ways to cope and to experience the world. And we get hardwired, but we can unwire those things. I think meditation is an incredible tool that is at our disposal, and it's become more and more popular. It is mainstream. You have, medical students at med school learning it and bringing it out into practice. Cancer patients meditating to deal with pain. You have it. It's really incredible. And and it can also be a spiritual pathway. And, like I said, just getting yourself to calm your mind. Okay, we can do it right now. Close our eyes, take a deep breath, let it out, and just feel how good that feels. Guess what? We just meditated. It's as simple as that. And sometimes just checking in, taking that breath, realizing that we can step out of the chaos and the busyness and just calm ourselves is a huge step we can make. But for me, it was really a lot of my anxiety was coming from worry about the future. Always, what's going to happen? What's going on? Worrying about my kids, worrying about my finances, worrying about my job, worrying about my health. I dealt with some health issues when I was younger. And so that was always plaguing me. And I just realized I just need to learn to detach from these things and just observe them and be with them and not be in conflict with them. And meditation is great for that. And I've been able to incorporate prayer into that as well. I mean, I rediscovered the Bible as a relevant document. I had some great pastors. There's a Bible study that's attended by a lot of celebrities out here every Wednesday night. That's run by this really gifted pastor, great young guy in his 30s who just is very articulate and passionate about Scripture. And it really does impact me. I learn that the Bible has a place for me. And, not only just that Bible study, I mean, I went to church with the Kardashians, evangelical church that they helped found. A lot of people are like, what? The church? The Kardashians? Like, they go to church? Yes, I went a lot with them, and Kris Jenner has become a friend, and her pastor, incredible guy. So, I just really opened myself up. I tried Scientology, not going to lie, wasn't my cup of tea, but to each their own. But nevertheless, I feel I'm more whole, I'm more centered, I have a better grip on what I believe. And as I told my daughter in the book, there's a scene where my daughter, 12 at the time, is asking me, do you believe in God? And I said, absolutely. And if anything, I more than ever believe in God, and that came after seeking God. And like I said, sometimes it's just asking questions, being in the moment, being present with your doubts and your fears and your questions, and not being afraid of them and not running away. You find a deeper truth. And shockingly, to a lot of people's sort of prejudices, I found that in Hollywood, and I was determined. After 20 years of living and working here, I felt like I had, lost myself, and I wanted to re-find myself here. I thought there was something poetic and spiritual about that, and I have, and I'm very grateful for it.
Ken, do you think that, for a long time, so many people were really trying to go it alone? And do you think that there's this return to spirituality and faith and religion because we're realizing that, we need a life of purpose, something that, one that's guided by a higher power? Do you see that kind of a turn?
My opinion is that we all have a spiritual self, and we have a relationship with it. And I think because of modern life, we can often be in conflict between our physical selves and our spiritual selves. And a lot of exciting things that are happening right now are a lot of, movements for in wellness circles are, the idea of whole health, holistic health. And with spirituality of, the mind, body, and spirit becoming more and more of an issue. I mean, of course, in wellness, we were always focused at first on the physical. Where's my medicine? Where's the surgery? And then people started to get a lot more progressive about looking at our mental health and our mind and how our mind and bodies reacted, and psychosomatic disorders. And I think the third final leg to that stool that I think we're gripping as a culture or grappling with is spirituality. And the spirit is very, very powerful, and it's a lot more difficult. I think it's the last one that we've started to grapple with in a serious way because it's a lot more amorphous. It's a little abstract at times, and it's hard to define, but it's there and it's real. And my opinion is, and I talk to atheists in my book, because I needed to be open. I had to entertain the idea that, wait, I'm in the search for God. I might as well, if I'm doing this search in an intellectually honest way, I have to at least explore the idea that there may not be a God. And why do I think there is? And so you read about me on that search, and I have some interesting conversations with some celebrities about that. But at the end of the day, for me, what I think spirituality provides is a real sense of just having peace in the moment. And I think that we all are taken out of the moment constantly. But when we realize that we can be grateful in the moment, we are blessed with each breath. Every day is a miracle. When you're filled with that gratitude and self-awareness, you are overcome with a sense of spirituality that has nothing to do with dogma, has nothing to do with the Quran, the Bible. I don't care nothing dogmatic about it. It's just a sense of spirituality, and it's a beautiful thing.
The book is The 10 Commandments, My Search for God in Hollywood by Ken Baker. And thank you so much for being here with us today and for sharing what you learned in your search. And, like I said, when we talk about Hollywood, we don't think about it being a place of religion and spirituality, but it is in some ways probably a great example for what's going on around the rest of the world. So thank you so much for being here.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
This is Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you for joining us. I hope you found the show informative. At Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life, we believe that knowledge is power. Take what you've learned, apply it, and live your best life now. Remember that the information provided are the opinions of our guests and should never replace the advice of a professional who knows your personal situation. If you'd like more information, visit our website, CYACYL.com. While on the site, listen to past shows on demand, read our digital magazine, take part in the book club, check out our team, and be sure to follow the show on social media. Until next time, this is Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in.